Hello there my friends, my name is Riskfish and today I'm bringing you a video on ReZero. ReZero is one of the most popular and in-depth stories of the past decade. However, despite this, it still has many overlooked elements in its story, and today we'll be exploring one of them. My theory is that Subaru's deaths throughout the story are the consequences of him making deeply sinful choices, and can be avoided by him choosing a more virtuous path. This begins in Arc 1, which revolves around the sin of pride and the virtue of humility. But what is the difference between the two? The key difference between pride and humility is in their meaning. Pride refers to having an excessively high view of one's importance, whereas humility refers to having a modest or low view of one's importance. A proud person always considers himself superior to others, whereas a humble person doesn't, and the difference between the two can be seen in all of Subaru's death routes. Death Route 1. Arrogance vs Modesty. Preparation and recognizing danger. Subaru's first death is primarily caused by his arrogance, which can be seen in the sequence leading up to Elsa's ambush. Firstly, Subaru is walking through the slums, a poorly lit and unguarded area in near darkness, despite nearly being killed by thieves in a similar environment earlier that very same day. Secondly, he leaves Amelia outside in this dodgy neighbourhood, while he himself enters the loot house alone and unarmed, without knowing how many thieves there are inside and if they are hostile. Thirdly, and most ludicrously of all, he walks inside with no money or goods and somehow believes he is in a position to negotiate for a royal freaking insignia. Absolutely insane. He even prevents Amelia from taking part in these negotiations, who is someone that has both money and actually knows the value of the insignia in the first place. The result is that due to Subaru's arrogance, he believes he can handle the situation without any preparation and is completely blind to the obvious incoming danger, which means Elsa is able to ambush him before he can warn Amelia. In the correct route, Subaru is actually prepared for the negotiation. He knows that his phone is worth more than the insignia, and he knows that Elsa isn't able to outbid him. He also demonstrates the ability to recognize danger, as this time he is in the slums in daylight hours when there are plenty of people around. This means that this time when he meets Elsa, he is in a much more favourable environment and hasn't carelessly stumbled into the wrong place at the wrong time. Furthermore, despite his hatred, he then avoids confronting the danger alone, choosing to acknowledge Elsa's superiority. These points show that Subaru is far more modest than before, acknowledging his own limitations while giving a greater regard to the value of others and the environments he is in. The result is that when Elsa launches her ambush in the loot house, not only has he survived his initial confrontation with Elsa, but he is able to recognise the dagger in the dark and warn Puck, who saves Amelia. Death Route 2. Cowardice and Bravery. Controlling Emotions. Subaru's second death is primarily caused by cowardice during Romanfeld's battle with Elsa. Firstly, he doesn't involve Amelia because he is afraid of losing her, despite seeing her strength in the alley against the thieves. Secondly, when Elsa attacks, he is frozen to the point of inaction by the fear and pain from his memories of Return by Death, to the point where he doesn't interfere until Elsa has already beaten Romanfeld. The result is that he loses his advantage in numbers. Elsa even taunts him, saying, "If only you had stood up and done that sooner, things might have gone a bit differently." Finally, when he does act, he shows only concern for himself and his wounded pride. This is important because judging by the time of day, both Amelia and Reinhardt could have been in the area, and if he had calmed down, he may have been able to reach one of them. The result, however, is that his cowardice prevents him from thinking clearly, and he is killed. In the correct route, Subaru controls his fear to the point that he is able to analyse the situation and make calm judgments. This time, not only is he able to recognise the danger to Amelia, but he also is able to hold off Elsa, prevent Elsa finishing off Rom, and save Felt twice. Firstly when she is frozen due to her own fear, and secondly when Elsa throws a dagger at her back, which Subaru catches with his foot. Even in the later stages of the arc, he is able to block Elsa's last attempt on Amelia's life. This shows far more bravery from Subaru, as he is able to remain calm and make logical decisions faster, while also noticing new opportunities that he overlooked before. The result is that he is able to help Felt escape and maintain his advantages in numbers until Reinhardt arrives. Death Route 3. Disrespect and deference. Acknowledging others. Subaru's third death is primarily caused by disrespect during his encounter with the three thieves. Firstly, he fails to acknowledge the thieves' superiority in numbers, as they outnumber him 3 vs 1. Secondly, he fails to acknowledge that the thieves are armed and he is not, giving them another advantage. Thirdly, he fails to respect the position of the thieves, who are blocking his escape onto the streets, trapping him in their own territory. Finally, he fails to recognise the negotiating power the thieves have due to their other advantages. They actually offer him a chance to survive the encounter by handing over his valuables, which is a chance to show deference. However, he refuses because he was lucky enough to overcome them before. The result is that he shows extreme disrespect to all of the advantages of the thieves, pushing through them while saying, "Move it, I have somewhere I need to go and you guys are in my way," not even trying to fight them, which ends up with him being stabbed in the back. In the correct route, he acknowledges the superior position of the thieves and instead shouts for backup, which attracts the attention of Reinhardt. This removes the advantages of the thieves, because not only does Reinhardt have a weapon, he also has a superior position. It also evens the numbers, a point Reinhardt himself says, mentioning that things might have been a bit different if it was 3 vs 1, which is exactly the situation Subaru was in before. The result is, by acknowledging the power of the thieves, showing deference, he realised that the best way to survive is showing deference to an even greater power, the guards, or more specifically Reinhardt. The purpose of Arc 1, Reflection and Balance. Through displaying the combined effects of modesty, courage and deference, Subaru is able to overcome his deaths and complete the arc. This doesn't mean pride is all bad though, as Subaru still demonstrates moments of arrogance, cowardice and disrespect in both the correct route and the following arcs. The key difference is that Subaru reflects on his actions and ultimately ends up achieving a balance between pride and humility. One of the key moments of reflection is when Felt explains the meaning of the words "stay strong" that the locals use, revealing it to be words that the locals use to mask their weakness, which is something that Subaru until recently had been doing himself. Felt herself also shows many elements of pride and meets her death without Subaru's help, showing the consequences of pride. The dangers of extreme pride and humility are also demonstrated in other stories within ReZero. Spoiler alert! Heinkel, Reinhardt's father, is able to take advantage of Reinhardt's humility to mooch off his achievements in power. This boils over in Arc 5 when Heinkel takes Felt hostage to control Reinhardt for his own safety. Likewise, the If Pride spin-off from Arc 1 shows Subaru embracing pride completely, resulting in him only satisfying himself and hurting Amelia, the person he cares about most. The final conclusion. What most people don't realise is that only the selfish side of pride is classed as sinful. There is actually another type of pride that isn't associated with the sin, and that is to feel pride from both the achievements of yourself and those closest to you. Through the course of Arc 1, Subaru's pride changes between the two, from an individual who takes pride from his own empty words to someone who gains pride from the actual achievements of himself and others. This can be seen in the final scene when he happily acknowledges Reinhardt's and Felt's contributions and is satisfied that he was finally able to save Amelia, giving him a genuine reason to feel true pride. This sadly brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this, let me know. I do plan to do more, so stay in touch.